You reach out. And he flinches. He's safe now, but his body doesn't know that yet. Why does love feel so scary to a rescued dog?
You know that dream, right? The one where you bring home a rescue dog and it's just instant connection, like a movie. But the reality? Yeah, it's often a lot quieter, a lot more complex. It's the start of a journey that's all about patience. And this right here from Reddit user U/Tiffany2321 says it all. If you have ever felt this way, let me just tell you, you are so not alone. It is maybe the most common feeling out there. Building a real bond with a dog whose history is a total mystery, well, it's a special kind of process. That magical, instant connection we all dream about, it's something you usually have to build one tiny piece at a time. And here's the secret. That trust isn't built in some grand, dramatic moment. Nope, it's forged in all the small, quiet, consistent things you do every single day. So that's what we're going to break down right now, the foundational steps that really, truly make all the difference. So where do we even begin? Well, believe it or not, earning their trust starts before your new buddy even walks through the front door. Getting your home ready is your first chance to show them, hey, this new place, it's safe. Okay, so this is all about putting on your dog vision goggles and seeing your house from their perspective. First, you're on a mission to spot hazards. You know, anything a nervous pup could get into. Next, you set up their personal home base. And this is key. It's not a timeout spot, it's their personal safe space, a little den that's all theirs. And finally, you become a fence inspector, making sure the yard is Fort Knox. Every little thing you do here, you're basically dialing down their stress meter before they even arrive. All right, now we get to what is maybe the most counterintuitive part of this entire thing. In those first critical weeks, what we think of as love and comfort can actually be pretty overwhelming for a dog trying to figure out their new life.
This is probably the hardest part because it goes against every single one of our instincts. We just want to smother them with love, right? But you got to remember, their whole world just got flipped upside down. They're dealing with a massive sensory overload. Honestly, one of the kindest things you can do is just give them space. Let them just be. Let them watch you from a distance and process everything on their own terms. It's a huge gift.
Oh, Andy, I feel so sorry for them, Trap. We all fall into it. Our hearts tell us to let them get away with anything because they've had it rough. But here's the thing. A nervous dog doesn't want pity. They want predictability. A solid routine, knowing when they eat, when they walk, when they sleep, that's not restrictive. It's liberating for them. It removes a huge chunk of their anxiety because they finally know what to expect.
And this brings us to a huge mindset shift. I love this analogy. Think of yourself as a tour guide in a scary new city where your dog doesn't speak the language. They are looking to you to say, don't worry, I've got this. Stick with me. So when you set boundaries, like where they can and can't go, you're not being a drill sergeant. You're being that calm, confident guide who makes them feel safe enough to finally relax.
So, what does that look like in practice? A few big things. Start leaving them alone for just a few minutes right from day one. This helps head off separation anxiety. If you have people over, tell your guests to completely ignore the dog. I know, it's hard, but it teaches the dog that new humans aren't a threat. And please, 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 avoid super overwhelming spots like the dog park or a busy cafe. And last but not least, whatever your furniture rules are, decide on them now and be consistent.
Okay, so we've been talking a lot about our actions. Now, let's flip the script and really try to get inside their heads. If we want to build trust, we have to start by understanding fear from their point of view.
A really big piece of this puzzle is something called the imprint period. Imagine a window of time when they're a tiny puppy where their brain is basically a sponge, soaking up what's normal and safe in the world. Now, if a rescue dog missed that window, if they weren't exposed to good things like friendly people or loud noises, their brain's default reaction to anything new is basically danger. It's not their fault, it's how they were wired.
And these pictures, they show us just how clearly dogs communicate that fear. Look at the lowered body, the tucked tail, the ears pulled back. This isn't just a dog being shy. This is a dog shouting, in their own language, I'm not a threat. Please don't hurt me. They're actively trying to make a scary situation go away.
But fear can be way more subtle than that. You have to learn to spot the whispers before they become a scream. Things like showing the whites of their eyes, that's called whale eye, or a quick lip lick, a yawn when they're not even tired, or suddenly getting really interested in sniffing the ground. These are all called calming signals. It's their polite way of saying, "I'm feeling a little uncomfortable here," long before they might ever think about growling. Learning to see these is an absolute game changer.
So now that we can see the signs of fear, what do we actually do? How do we take that knowledge and turn it into actions that build them up and make them feel more confident? Let's get into our toolkit. This little chart is your go-to guide for being a non-scary human. See the pattern here? Everything on the do side makes you smaller, less direct, and most importantly, it gives the dog control. Plop down on the floor instead of towering over them. Glance to the side instead of staring them down. Let them be the one to close the distance. And when they do get brave, a nice little scratch under the chin is way less threatening than a hand coming down from the sky. Every single one of these choices is a little deposit in their trust bank.
Look, I get it. This whole process can feel really slow. And sometimes it's tough to know if you're making any progress. But this last part is all about hope, and it's backed by some really amazing science that proves all your patience is absolutely worth it.
So the ASPCA ran this incredible, multi-year study, and they didn't take the easy cases. They specifically worked with dogs who were considered unadoptable because of their extreme fear. We're talking dogs from puppy mills, hoarding cases, you name it. These were the dogs that a lot of people might have given up on.
So, what happened? After going through a dedicated rehab program, a whopping 86% of these dogs graduated. That means they were ready for a home. Think about that. These weren't just nervous dogs, they were terrified. And this shows that with the right approach, real significant change is absolutely possible.
But did they actually get adopted? You better believe it. Of all the dogs who graduated, 99% found a family. They didn't just get better in a lab, they made it into loving homes.
And here's the number that gives me chills. Of the people who adopted these dogs, 96% said they were satisfied or very satisfied. So not only did the dogs get better, but the bonds they formed with their new families were strong and happy and lasting.
The study's conclusion says everything we need to know. It basically says that there is so much hope. It's scientific proof that a dog's past doesn't get the final say on their future. Their capacity to bounce back, to trust again, it's there. We just have to be patient enough to help them find it.
And that's what it all comes down to, isn't it? Your dog's past, that chapter is already written. You can't change it. But you, with your patience, your kindness, and all those little consistent actions, you get to write the next chapter. So what's it going to say?